Hello everyone, this is a recording which is aimed to help those people that want to get familiar with MySQL, Workbench, databases, and how to set up uh, MySQL in general in order to use it. That's the presentation, and we just begin with the plan. What's the plan? We get the software, we control the database management system, we get the database management system, we log into the database management system, and we show some problems while logging into the system, and we will make a simple database schema. We begin with this software called SAMP. Some of you might already know everything that I'm about to uh, talk in this presentation, but again, this is intended for those people that do not know anything about this stuff. And if you don't want to stay in that video and you think you already know all this stuff, you can skip to the next video. So that's XAMPP. That's a software we use in Windows to control web servers. Everything that you would need, XAMPP has it in order to host a website. What's all about with the database, MySQL in this case? So that's a dashboard where you control those services. Those are services in this case, and we just have to start that service. That's the first option. The second option is to use a MySQL community server, which does not come with the program, but instead it gives you only the service that you want for MySQL. From this screen, you're going to use MySQL community server and MySQL Workbench. MySQL Workbench, I will explain what is it later in this presentation. The way we start a service on Windows is by this program services MSC. If I run services MSC, that's the program. And you should find MySQL. Yeah, in that case, in my case, it's 267, but it varies because of the version. That does not matter. While you see MySQL, that's a service, and you have to start it. That's the way to do it with the GUI. In Windows, you can use PowerShell. You can start the service with this commandlet. You specify the name. In my case, it's 267. You start the service with this commandlet. You stop the service with this commandlet. And if you don't know what service are currently running, you can check with this commandlet get service. You can pipe it and select the objects that have the status running. You get the point. So let's continue. I have to mention something very important, and that is MySQL Community Server is not MySQL Workbench. MySQL Community Server is just the service that you need to start in order to use your DBMS. And in that case, we use MySQL Workbench because that's convenient, that's easy. MySQL Workbench has a great interface. Getting a DBMS, here you have to, that's the same picture, but in this case, you have to install MySQL Workbench. Here are the schemas or databases. Every database has its table, and on this table we execute queries. Here we observe the logging of those queries and what failed and what succeeded. Let's first define what's a DBMS. A DBMS is a database management system, which is a software used to manage data from a database. It acts like an interface between the database and users or applications, ensuring data is consistently organized, easily accessible, and secure. That's the formal definition. Database has an internal schema, and there are some advantages to using the database rather than the traditional way of using, for example, Excel files and so on. So we installed the DBMS, and now we have to connect to the database management system. First is with the GUI. We start up MySQL and we have to make a new connection. The connection is simple, it's localhost, it's with a simple username and a simple self-explanatory connection name, and that's enough for the purposes of testing, learning, etc. Username is root, port is the default for database. That's the easier way to do it. That's the recommended way to do it if you first starting up with databases and MySQL and SQL. That's the way to do it. The way I'm going to do it, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and I recommend to do it after you get familiar with all of this, is via the command line interface or CLI. So in order to use the MySQL service and MySQL in general, you have first to include the mysql.exe into the as an environment variable, and we add the path where MySQL Workbench is installed to. In my case, MySQL Workbench is in this folder. We are concerned with mysql.exe, and we want to run it not from that directory but from any directory. That is where the executable lives. We specify it, and we can run it in the command prompt. And the second step is to run command prompt, which is cmd. We check the version and output like this. We know that we have added MySQL successfully to the path system variable. MySQL version. Yes, we get the version of the program, so that's good. If we, for example, did not succeed in adding it successfully to the path system variable, MySQL is not recognized as an internal external command. So we have to log in to the DBMS. Let's try it. MySQL user, and I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, we got an error. Why? We don't have a connection to localhost. Well, how are we going to fix this? I open XAMPP and I run MySQL. Here we should succeed. That's the first way. The second way is with the services MSC. We press start and we try again, and here I expect to fail. Yes, it failed because I have set it up like this. On this service there is other users, so we have root M and we succeed. Running a service, starting a service, ending a service is an administrative activity. This session, and we run other session as administrator, and we try again. Start service name MySQL autocomplete, and let's see. We are fresh with F5 and it is running. Stop service name MySQL. Now we stop it. We inspect the status here. Okay. And we try to log in again or connect. And that's unsuccessful. So that's a demonstration on how to connect. Let's just connect to the normal session, this, and MySQL. That's the first XAMPP user and connection and service. That's the second we use with PowerShell. So we connect to here. And it's okay. We have our schemas, we have our database management system, and we can execute some queries. And I'm going to do this now. I'm going to create just a schema. So create database YouTube DB. That's enough. We press Control and Enter to execute, or this icon here. See, the first one succeeded, the second one did not, because it already exists. In order to see, in order to see the schemas, you have to click here. It might be already selected on the administration tab. You have to choose schemas. And if you don't see anything after you run your query, you have to refresh. And there we go, you have it. So that's it. I'm just going to show you something else. First, I'm going to show you what database is currently selected. And that's important because when you select a database, you execute queries on their tables. So you first have to define which database you're going to use, which schema you're going to use. To see which schema we are currently using in, we're going to type select database and those brackets. That's a service. No, I mean that's an internal function that you can use. And database just shows which database is currently selected. And we have no. Okay. So we're going to select our freshly created database, which is YouTube DB, and we're going to do that by use YouTube DB. We execute that query. We comment this out so it does not execute, and we run it. And we see that YouTube DB name gone with bold font, which means it is selected. So if we try to run again that same statement, we are going to see that YouTube DB is selected. There is no deselect query. You have to use other database or reconnect to the database management system. So the last thing I'm going to do is drop that database, and I'm going to do it by using this query, drop database YouTube DB, and it's gone. And now if I try to run again select database, and it's no again. I might be cutting some parts of this video in order to keep it reasonably long, and yeah, these are the other slides of the presentation. And yeah, so thank you for your time. I hope you learned something new today, that it's going to help you with your learning journey of the DBMS and SQL language. And I'm going to show you an example where we create a database and some tables in the next video that I decide to do. So thank you for your time and have a great day.